Are you thinking about buying a home in Venice, Florida, but you don't know where anything is and you want to know where it is in proximity to other towns and what's there? How close is it to the beach? How close is it to downtown? What is there to do? What attractions? Where the grocery store, where the schools are? So we're going to get into that right now. I'm going to take you in a Google map and drive you around on my computer, show you where things are. So let's get to that right now. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about Venice, Florida, then go ahead and subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you're the first to know what's happening here in Venice and all the surrounding areas. My name is Cindy and I'm with Life in Sarasota, Florida. My partner Dom, the team, and I, we get phone calls and emails from people just like you that are looking to move to Sarasota and Venice and all the surrounding areas, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're buying a home in 9 or 90 days, give us a call, send us a text, write us an email, or schedule a Zoom call. We would be happy to help make it an easy move here to Florida. So now we're going to jump into my computer and I will show you around. Okay, I wanted to do a big picture view of Venice so you have a good general idea where it's located. So we're on the west coast of Florida here, and there it is right here. And then here's Sarasota right here. And then a little further south is Fort Myers. There's some other smaller towns here too below Venice. Northport is just to the east of Venice. And just further north, there's Bradenton and St. Pete and Tampa. Now, as far as commuting, we see a lot of people commuting from Venice to Sarasota. They work in Sarasota and then they live in Venice. Prices are a little bit less in Venice, although they are starting to creep up because people are learning about how amazing it is there. So we're going to go through the population and such so you can get a feel for what that's like. So let's start first on how long it takes you to get from Venice to Sarasota if you are commuting. So about 40 minutes without traffic. There's a little bit of light traffic here. And then this is 41. Which is also considered Tamiami Trail. If you haven't heard about Tamiami Trail, it's about 3.5 hours from Tampa all the way to Miami. So let me show you what I mean. So it's this route from Tampa all the way to Miami. It's about 3.5 hours. There's a lot of lights in between and such. So not necessarily the fastest way, but it was the only way at that time when they built it. So Tamiami Trail is also known as 41. So now let's get to some of the nitty gritty here. So we'll zoom it right into Venice. So Venice was settled in 1870s and originally called Horse and Carriage because of a tree formation that some fishermen found when they were fishing. So they originally called it that. I guess it looked like a horse and carriage. Then Venice acquired its current name from Frank Heigl, who was considered to be called the father of Venice, and it was incorporated in 1927. Frank Heigl actually used to spend his childhood, I guess, over in Venice, Italy, and said that Venice, Florida looked a lot like Venice, Italy. So that's why he named it that. The size and population in Venice is 18 square miles, and 1.5 square miles is underwater. Even so, there's over 26,000 residents, which is about half the size of Sarasota as far as population, but Sarasota is just slightly bit larger than Venice. The weather here in Venice is there's 252 sunny days in Venice, and in the nationwide average there's 202. So we have substantially more sun here. Even though it's called the Sunshine State, it is not the sunniest of all the states. Actually, Arizona is the the sunniest of all states. So interesting fact. Wintertime, it's in the 50s for the low and 70s for the high. So it's amazing during the winter. In the spring and fall, it's in the 60s for the low and 80s for the high. And then of course, summertime is a little intense. So we just, we spend a lot of time inside or in the pool, and it gets to be 70s at the low and then 90s for the high, which, you know, a lot of states have the 90s in the summertime, but it does get to be a bit intense because our humidity is a little bit higher here. And rainy season is between June and September. According to niche.com, all the Venice public schools are considered to be the top rated in the A to B plus. So that's pretty good if you can understand, you know, that's pretty high. That's probably the highest in this general area is right there in Venice. And of course, there's so many beaches here in Venice. So let's get to the beaches right now. Let me scroll in so we can see. So what's one beach that's really neat is it's so close to the historic downtown area. Hopefully you can see this okay. So right here is the Venice Beach, the main beach here. And you can actually walk from the beach right to the historic downtown. It's not terribly far. It would probably take you, at a decent stroll, take you about 10 to 15 minutes. And there are tons of beautiful architecture and restaurants. So check that out there. And then if you go a little bit further south here, you've got the Venice Fishing Pier, and check that video out because it is absolutely gorgeous. The sunsets are amazing. It has 2 restaurants right there on the beach. It's a hot spot. Sharky's is a hot spot for Venice Fishing Pier. The fishing pier is actually 700 feet and you can fish 24 hours a day, and there's no charge. There's no charge to get on the fishing pier. Also, you don't have to have a fishing license, which is pretty amazing there. And if you go further south here, you have Broward Paw Park. So you can bring your dog there. It's a great dog beach. And a little bit further south here is Casperson Beach. And that one is known as the shark tooth capital of the world. So very interesting fact. The sharks it's not heavy in sharks now. This is many, many years ago where they have all those shark's teeth there on the beach. You should see all the people with their shovels scooping those up, and it's pretty amazing. It's quite beautiful. So that Casperson Beach goes really far, all the way down to Minnesota Key. So really long beach there. So let's get to what else is around the area. So we also have a municipal airport here in Venice, just some of the smaller aircrafts, not international flights or anything like that, so private. And then of course, I talked about the historic, which is amazing, historic downtown. There's actually Centennial Park there. It has a splash park for all the kiddos. You should see it's quite the scene right in the middle of downtown, which is pretty cool. So let's do this. Let's go in real quick. This is really neat too. This is a man-made canal that goes through Venice that actually separates Venice with Venice Beach. So this whole area is considered Venice Beach. Draw it in here, but this is all considered Venice Beach. Even though it's not all on the water. And then it separates the downtown area. It's really quite remarkable. I believe it's about 4 blocks of restaurants, shops. The whole city of Venice feels very small, even though it's a very large area. Like I said, it's almost 18 square miles large. And but it still has that small town feel. So check that out. Let's go in some of the schools here. Actually, take a look at the map that I have there of the schools so you can see what the schools are like. And then, like I said, they're A to B plus rating, which is really high, especially for here in Florida, is not necessarily known for the schools. So this has been a very amazing part of Venice that they again attract wonderful teachers that are keeping those grades up. Also, check out the calendar. This is what's really cool about this town too. They have some sort of activities going on at all times. So check out that calendar. This is just for 1 month. So lots and lots of things to do. And going back to the map here, not too far from Venice is Sarasota International Airport. So it takes the same amount of time, maybe it's a little bit longer to get to than downtown, but going from Venice all the way to Sarasota International. And then of course, Tampa has an international airport as well up there. So many ways to get into Venice if you wanted to travel down here and see what it's all about. Let's see some of the other things. So some of the very interesting fact that Venice is actually the home to the only professional school for clowns. I thought that was kind of neat. I didn't even know there was a school for clowns, so quite interesting. And then Venice Beach is known as, like I said, the shark tooth capital of the world. Florida is one of the most visited destinations in the world, which most people may know that because it is just so beautiful here and beautifully manicured, and we love it here. Some of the amazing attractions to this area, I mentioned it before about the 700-foot pier. Another really cool attraction to Venice is Legacy Trail, and that trail runs all the way from Venice, South Venice, all the way up to downtown Sarasota, and it's 18.5 miles. So people are running, walking, using their scooters, biking. It's just so great because everybody's getting out and about and being active, and it's just a great way to get out and get your exercise. Mayaca State Forest is another really beautiful attraction in Venice. It's the largest, most diverse park. It has more than 37,000 acres of nature. Wow, that's huge. It has a suspended treetop trail and of course, lots of rare bird and animal sightings. You can bring your own vessel or rent one at the park. There's kayaking, canoeing, paddleboarding, and pontoon boat tours. There's over 80 campsites in the park, which offer primitive camping, tents, RVs, and cabins, and some of the campsites will allow for pets. Also, another great attraction for Venice is Pool Today Park. The Atlanta Braves spring training trains there. It's so cool to have a spring training baseball team here. There's a tiki bar, and then they're planning tons of amazing events there, like concerts and other really cool events there in the future. And obviously, Florida is known for golf, but Venice actually has 17 golf courses just in Venice alone, and that includes Pelican Point, Capri Isle, Sarasota National, and there's over 51 golf courses within 20 miles of Venice, so it's pretty amazing. Definitely want to take advantage of that if you like golf. So that kind of wraps it up for the information about Venice. Let's see if we might be able to scroll in here and you can see just how massive this area is. So some of the neighborhoods that I've driven in, actually check out this video of Grand Paradiso. The homes are gorgeous there. This is one of the largest neighborhoods in Venice, and Lennar took care of that opening up that neighborhood, and it actually has a gorgeous zero entry pool. The pool is massive. There's so much to do at that neighborhood. Sarasota National is just down the street from there. I mentioned the golf is amazing there. That neighborhood is, like I said, all about golf. And then, of course, you have all your amenities so close. We've got Home Depot, Target, Dollar Tree. They're all really close. Outback Steakhouse, Walmart. The theater's not too far from there. Maybe you know this or not, but usually when builders come and build in certain areas, they usually start closest to the water. So some of the older homes are closer to the water unless they've been plowed down or taken down and knocked down to put up a brand new home. So you'll get a lot of the older homes here on the coastline. And then as you go more inland, you'll see a lot of the newer neighborhoods. So like I mentioned, Grand Paradiso, that is one that it was built within the last 10 years. So all the homes are 10 years and newer in there, just like Sarasota National. Another really awesome place to mention is Wellen Park downtown. This is going to be an amazing attraction to the area. Again, here's a rendering of what it looks like, or what it's going to look like in all the different shops and restaurants that we'll be going in. So come check it out. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and learning more about Venice, Florida. So it's a great destination. We love it here, whether you are considering an investment home, a secondary home, or a primary home. It's a great place to be. And a very interesting fact that I told you I would tell you about is Florida is the #1 destination for people to visit. So that might tell you whether maybe you would consider an investment property or a rental here. So whether you are looking to buy a home in 9 or 90 days, give us a call, send us a text, write us an email, or schedule a Zoom call. We would be happy to help make it an easy move here to Venice, Florida. See you around.